Good morning, third grade. We're starting our language class next. And for language today on Monday, you're going to need your English 3 book. And you're going to want to open up to page 227, 228. And you'll know you're on the right page because there's a big whale on it. So I'll give you a chance to find that. Always feel free to pause the video if you need to get your paper out and everything and you want to have a pencil ready. Okay? All right. So I'm going to read you guys a little story and I want you to listen carefully because I'm going to ask you some questions about it when I'm done reading. Okay? So get your listening ears on and listen carefully. The birds in a cage sang a song. Jacob heard the birds and went to find them. When he came into the room, he saw a bird pecking at a mirror in the cage. The bird thought his reflection was another bird. All right, so now, can anyone remember in the story how many birds were in the cage? It didn't tell us. We don't know. How about what color were the birds? It didn't say. We don't know that answer either. How about this? What kind of song were the birds singing? We don't know that one either. What kind of cage was it? Didn't say. What size was the mirror? It didn't tell us. The reason we can't answer any of these questions, guys, is because there are no adjectives in our story. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Now let's remember what a noun is. Nouns are persons, so any people, places, and things. So I was asking you questions about nouns. How many birds were there? What kind of birds? What song were they singing? How big was the cage? Cage and birds and song, those are all nouns, but there was nothing in the story describing it. So today we're going to see how adjectives can make our sentences a lot more interesting and also to help us find them in the sentence, okay? So now that we know what adjectives do, they describe nouns, person, places, or things, we want to look at these 2 questions here. So adjectives answer 2 questions. They answer what kind and how many. So let's look at our first sentence here. I'm going to grab a marker and let's read it together. Kevin is wearing black shoes. Now there's more than one noun in this sentence. Kevin is a noun. He's our person. And shoes is a noun. That's a thing in our sentence. Now there's nothing talking about Kevin, describing Kevin, telling us what kind of Kevin or how many Kevins. But let's look at shoes. There is a word either answering what kind of shoes or how many shoes. Can anyone find it? If you said black, you're correct. That answers us what kind of shoes was Kevin wearing? He was wearing black shoes. Black is an adjective describing shoes. All right, let's look at the next one. His shoes are old. Okay, let's look at what nouns we have in this sentence. We've got a pronoun, his, but we're not going to have any adjectives describing pronouns. So our next noun is shoes, same noun that we had up here. Are there any words describing shoes in this sentence besides that they're black up here? You're right, old. What kind of shoes are they? They are old shoes. So I want to show you this because sometimes adjectives can come before a noun describing it, the black shoes, or it can come after it following a linking verb, right? The shoes are old. Remember our linking verbs? Is, are, was, were, have, has, had, am, will. And so if we see any of those, a lot of times linking verbs are going to have an adjective describing the noun in the sentence. All right, let's look at another one. These 2 I made for me. Okay, let's look at the first one. That is a beautiful cactus. Okay, what is my noun in the sentence? What is my person, place, or thing? Cactus is a thing. Very good. There's no other nouns in that sentence. Now, is there an adjective describing that cactus? Either what kind of cactus or how many cactus? If you said beautiful, you're right. That is a beautiful cactus. Beautiful is an adjective describing cactus. Let's look at our next one. She bought 2 piglets. Okay, again, we have another pronoun, but we're not going to have an adjective describing a pronoun. Bought, that's an action, that's a verb. 2 and piglets. Which of those is a noun? Piglets, right? Little baby pigs. You can see why I wrote these sentences. Okay, so what word do we have describing the piglets? Either what kind of piglets were they? Were they pink? Were they cute? Were they noisy? Or how many pigs? That's right, it tells us how many. She bought 2 piglets. Okay, so 2 is describing our piglets. So over here, I want you guys to look. I'm going to grab a red and a blue marker. There are lots of words that are adjectives. There's no way that I could list them all. There's too many. But I want to show you some of the different that you might see. So typically, adjectives that answer what kind are going to be like colors. So like pink, pigs, right? Or yellow, the yellow sun, things like that. But it doesn't have to just be colors. It could describe it. So, right, we had old for old shoes. We had beautiful for beautiful cactus, right? We could go on listing a bunch of, let me move this a little bit here, guys, for you. Listing many, many adjectives here. Now, the how many one I wanted to show you because we did have a number, right? 2 piglets, and we could list every number here. 1 to a million, 100,000. Every number is going to be an adjective. But there are some extra words that represent numbers without saying exactly how many. So have you ever heard of the word several? She has several dogs at her house. Several means more than probably 3, right? Have you ever heard of this word? She has a couple cats at her house. I'm thinking of animals today. How about a few? How about she has many? Right? So when we're looking at our page, be looking for those tricky how many words as adjectives. All right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move our iPad or our camera here, get to walk and see the classroom a little, and I'm going to put it up so that you guys can see the television here, and this is really going to help us do our paper. Okay, so if you don't have your paper open already, make sure it's open, and we're looking at that big whale, okay, and we're going to start with number 1. Okay, so instead of me getting to call one of you, I'm going to read the sentence out loud, but I do want you to try and do it on your own when answering the question. Okay, so our first one says, and I'm just going to get a color here. Number 1, the continent of Antarctica is unusual. Now they already underlined the noun for us. Do you see that? Continent is already underlined. What they want us to do is circle the adjective that's describing it. So, and remember of our questions, what kind and how many? So what kind of continent is it? Or how many continents? Now, this one's a little tricky. The continent of Antarctica is unusual. Now, some of you might have said Antarctica. That's actually just another name for the continent. So what kind of continent is Antarctica? If you said unusual, you are correct. If you didn't, go ahead and erase it and change it now. But unusual is describing what kind of continent Antarctica is. Let's look at number 2. Only a few scientists live there. All right, they told us our noun, scientists. Now, is it telling us what kind of scientists or how many scientists? Look at it for a second. If you said few, you're correct. Only a few scientists live there, and few was one of those tricky how many words that doesn't exactly have the exact number, but a few probably means like 3 or so. Okay, let's look at number 3. Parts of Antarctica have the coldest temperatures in the world. All right, any words describing temperatures, since that's our underlined noun. What kind of temperatures or how many? Coldest, you're right. Coldest is describing what kind of temperatures. Let's look at number 4. Antarctica is the largest body of ice in the world. What's describing body? Oh, it's the largest body. What kind of body? It's very large. So we're gonna circle largest. All right, so now this next part, they're actually giving you the adjective, but they want you to decide if it's telling you what kind or how many. And we're going to circle the correct one. I think this one's a little bit easier. So let's see, number 5. 2 kinds of whales are found around Antarctica. Is 2 telling us what kind or how many? You're right, how many? Everyone circle that. Number 6. Baleen whales have plates in their mouths to strain food. Does baleen describe what kind of whales or how many whales? What kind of whales? And that's what we have over here, guys. This is a baleen whale. That's what they put it on our page. All right, number 7. Toothed whales have only one blowhole. What is one answering? What kind or how many? That's right, how many? All right, now this last part is actually completing the sentence, and you're going to choose which word makes the most sense here. So we're going to circle the correct adjective. Whales are huge or tiny? So silly. Yes, they are huge. Next one. Blank whales travel in groups called pods. Now, if you're not sure, you can always insert the word. So let's try it with both. One whales travel in groups called pods, or many whales travel in groups called pods. That's right, many. Because it says whales here, plural, we know it can't just be one. It's got to be more than one. All right, guys, what I want you to do is flip it over to the back, and I want you to try the back on your own. You can pause the video while you're trying it, and then I'm going to put up the answer key, and I want you to check it. Once you check your work to see if you got it right, circle any that you missed, because I want to go over those with you when I do our FaceTime call tomorrow, okay? So go ahead, pause the video. All right, if you've completed the back page, which was this page here with the penguin on it, I'm going to show you the answers, and I'm going to move it by section. So I'm not going to actually say them. I just want you to look and see if you circled the right words. You can pause the video if you need to. All right, now I'm going to show you the second section. See if you circled those correct. And now I'm going to show you the bottom section. See if you circled those correct. All right, the last one was apply and write. Write a sentence that uses adjectives to describe your favorite animal. Go ahead and do that on your own, and then when we FaceTime later, I'm going to ask you to read me that sentence. Remember, a sentence always starts with a capital and ends with punctuation. All right, guys, I'll bring this back down so I can say goodbye to you. All right, so I will be working on the next video, which is going to be reading. We're going to read These Are My People together. So go ahead and try the language, and then we'll be checking in with you soon. All right, see you guys in a little bit.